And in our overall DevOps environment, we're going to be zooming in here to actual deploying and releasing. We're not going to be covering pre-code design process in detail or the version control structure. We have other webinars where we have dug in deeper, and we'll do some of those webinar topics before. If you have not seen any of those, or if you'd like more information on that, just again, send me an email or look in our webinar archives. And we go through the whole process. Of course, you can see on your screen, but when it comes to Octopus Deploy, the last 4 steps of our 12-step process, that's really where we want to do things a certain way to integrate Octopus Deploy into our DevOps environment. So again, I'm not gonna talk about the pre-code design process, but it is in my book, and we've done webinars on it, as well as version control structure. But I will talk about one thing where if you don't do this, you will be sunk in your Octopus Deploy implementation, and that is to put the complete application in one Git repository and only have one application in that Git repository. All the tools in the DevOps ecosystem are built, designed, and tested with kind of an assumption, whether they say it or not. They're designed with the assumption that they're operating on the code of a particular Git repository, not just one directory of a Git repository, not assembling 10 Git repositories together. Now, if you're in a legacy code situation, you're already working around that. But if you're implementing this, make sure that there is only one version to software application in that Git repository. You build on it, you package it up as a release candidate, and now we're going to deploy it as a unit. And by the way, it's perfectly fine for one logical application to have 2, 3, 4 things that need to get deployed. Even in the simplest case that we'll show you, we have a web application which talks to a SQL Server database. Everybody has those. So even in one application, even if that was the tiniest of microservices with a single web service API, it still has 2 things to deploy: web application and some type of place to store some data. Okay, that's normal. That's normal.